Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to another production of North Greenville University Sports live here on the North Greenville Sports Network. We get ready to start the new year off with some action on the court. The North Greenville University women's basketball team will take to the court here in just under 7.5 minutes, and they will face the King University Tornado out of Bristol, Tennessee. We take a look back at last year's game. King won that 80-69 to Misty Nelson. A highlight early, though, for North Greenville getting the two-pointer to go. And then Emily Wampler getting a three to drain into the basket. There she goes. That kept North Greenville in the ball game. But eventually, King University and Amy Van Deventer, number 44, would pull away, and King would take the ball game by a score again of 80-69. So a couple of stars have left the North Greenville team. To Misty Nelson, one of those stars who have graduated and moved on. So this North Greenville team looking for some new stars in this young and talented roster. And one of those is Ty Broadwater. She leads North Greenville in several statistical categories. And then one thing that North Greenville has started doing, especially this season, is they no longer have one person trying to shoot threes. It's spread around to about 3 or 4. You've also got Cameron Carter, she's cashed in a few. Emily Wampler has come on as a strong three-point shooter. And then one of the freshmen out of Englewood, Tennessee, number 41, Elizabeth Trenham, has also stepped up and filled part of that role.
Yeah, speaking of last year's game against King, North Greenville, among the 5 players that started that game, there's only one of them currently on the team this year. Courtney Williams is still on the team, however, she's out for the year. So Emily Wampler is the only starter in that game that will be playing tonight. To Misty Nelson, as we mentioned, graduated. Alicia Hope did as well. Tyler Powers no longer with the team. And then Courtney Williams injured. So Emily Wampler, the lone starter for that game remaining. So it's going to be a completely different experience from last year. And we'll see if North Greenville can be more competitive this time around.
And Van Deventer, the redshirt sophomore out of Cary, North Carolina, seems to be doing it all for the Tornado, especially in the paint underneath. She normally has a strong performance to carry for the Tornado.
Yeah, I mean, she had a huge game, as we mentioned earlier, against North Greenville last year, but she's actually 6th on the team in points per game. 7.4 for her. Leading for King is number 33, Ashley Albertson, with 12 points per game. And then second is number 24, Jalen Harper, with 9.4. And then third is number 15, Arnell Collins, with 9.3. And there's just a lot of different players for this King team that's scoring points and getting a lot of minutes.
Head coach of the Tornado, Josh Thompson, in his 5th season, brings a overall 5-5 record into this ball game. But the more important record to focus on is the conference record of 4-0. They are perfect so far in conference play as we get ready to start off the new year. This Tornado squad also averaging just shy of 70 points per game, 68.9, and North Greenville looking for a jump start, 2-7 overall, looking to try and get a conference win. Of course, the last game of 2015 falling to Converse College, and it's been a long time since North Greenville did that.
Yeah, it's been a struggle so far. Their last game was actually an exhibition against Furman a few days ago. It wasn't listed on the schedule, but they did have that exhibition. And by the way, North Greenville is 2-7. On the Conference Carolinas page, it has them listed at 2-8, but that's because they had the Furman game counting as an official game. That just needs to be cleared up. It was an exhibition for the Crusaders, but I believe it was one of those deals where it is an official game for Furman, much like the men's team with College of Charleston. That counted as an official game for the College of Charleston, but it counted as an exhibition for North Greenville.
And I think you're right, Alan. That's the way it works with the Division I, Division II schools playing each other. It counts as an exhibition for the D2 schools, and then the D1 school that is playing, if they end up losing, that's going to count against their record.
Yeah.
And you better believe in March, when it comes tourney time, they're going to be looking at that.
We'll mention the starting lineups real quickly. Starting for King, Brittany Stringer, Whitney Mitchell, Arnell Collins, Jalen Harper, and Ashley Albertson are the 5 starters for King. For North Greenville, Paulette Addison, Emily Wampler, Chantel Strayhorn, Cameron Carter, and Elizabeth Trenum are the starters for the Crusaders.
And Carter's gonna, looks like she's gonna start this game with a brace on that right knee, so something to keep an eye on as the game develops.
Yeah, you wonder if that'll maybe affect her 3-point shooting ability. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
And Van Deventer let off the starting lineup for King, but Ashley Albertson, the new hot hand for the Tornado, she is in. So we'll have to wait and see when Van Deventer gets put in.
Yeah, I'm real curious to see if King knows how many points she scored last season against the Crusaders here at Hayes Gymnasium. I believe it was 24. I believe she scored 24 points. So I think that we'll see a good amount of minutes by her, but only time will tell.
So roughly about a minute and a half before courtside festivities get underway, and we start off 2016 with some basketball action here from Hayes Gymnasium on the campus of North Greenville University. Head coach of North Greenville, Jane Orledge, assisted by Ross Jolly, Mariah Chandler, Courtney Haley, and Tiffany Egan will lead the Lady Crusaders onto the court. And then the head coach previously mentioned for the Tornado, Josh Thompson. He's assisted by Shelly Strang, and Courtney McDaniel will lead the Tornado onto the court.
I got to correct you on something real quick. Mariah Chandler is actually no longer with the team. She completed graduate school, so she has gone to bigger and better things. So we wish her the best of luck. But yeah, it was, she was actually a former player at Baylor while Brittany Griner was on the team. So that was, she was definitely a good presence to have around this team.
Coach Jane Orledge will have to find somebody to fill her shoes on the coaching staff for North Greenville women's basketball team.
Yeah, I think Alicia Hope, player from last year who's graduated, is helping out a lot more with the team.
And that'll be good to see, to get her some coaching experience if that's something she wants to do, which I think having a former player would be a great thing to have right here, right courtside.
Yeah, definitely. So starting lineups coming up right now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hayes Gymnasium on the campus of North Greenville University, where Christ makes a difference. Today's contest between King Tornadoes and your North Greenville Crusaders. As always, Crusader basketball games can be heard live on 95.5 FM, WNGR, or online at www.wngr.radio.com. At this time, we ask that you please rise for the invocation given today by Thomas Phillips, who remains standing as we honor the national anthem.
God, thank you today. Thank you for all that you do for us, God. Thank you for allowing King to be your savior, God. Thank you for being basketball. Pray the Lord to you. Glorify you. That would be truthful. So we pray.
30, Chantel Strayhorn. At guard, number 32, Cameron Carter. And at forward, number 41, Elizabeth Twitter. The Crusaders are coached by $10 in their 35th season in North Greenville. She's assisted by Ross Child and Alicia Hope. North Greenville University encourages and promotes good sportsmanship from student athletes, coaches, and spectators. It is our process to support the officials and participants in the contest in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments, or other derogatory actions directed at student athletes, coaches, officials, and team representatives will not be tolerated. That's from removal of any gymnasium. In addition, tobacco products or alcoholic beverages are not permitted. Thank you for your cooperation.
So here comes the first tip of 2016 North Greenville and King in Conference Carolinas action. Tip bounced around and Carter brings it down. For North Greenville, we are underway. 4 10-minute quarters in women's basketball. And if North Greenville's game's any evidence, it really has spruced up the action. Pass intercepted by Albertson, getting her first touch for the Tornado. Drives to the other end of the court, passes up top. Here comes the first three, and it's missed off the rim. A jump ball is called underneath the net, and the possession arrow points to King, so the Tornado will hang on to the ball for now. Tornado looking for the inbound. They sling it out. Now here comes a deep two that hits from Brittany Stringer. And it's actually rolled a 3.
Really?
And now they change it back to a 2. Okay, her feet were dead. I thought her feet were on the line. But King up early 2-0, and King with a half-court press. North Greenville works it down, though. Here comes a 3 that's short off the rim from Strayhorn. And now the Tornado look to extend the lead. Here's Mitchell. She passes up top. And now Albertson drives in and gets it off the glass and in. And the first 4 points of the game go to King, and now it's a full-court press, and they try to force a turnover, and they'll get it. Albertson scoops up the loose ball, passes out to number 24, that's Harper, and now they sling it around. Here comes Mitchell trying to drive in, and now back out to Harper. And Mitchell drives in, baseline jumper, good from her, and it's 6-0 King.
You know what? I think that King's been watching North Greenville's game against Carson Newman.
Yes. This is
really struggled with the full court press.
And they almost force another turnover as Brittany Stringer got a hand on it, could not reel it in though. And North Greenville lucky to get away from that one. 3 seconds to get it into front court. Drennan passes to Wampler and loses the ball to Mitchell. Mitchell bounce pass to Harper, up and in for 2, and it's 8-0, 2 minutes in. North Greenville trying to work out of the full court press. Strayhorn back to Trenum, across the half court line to Addison. Addison drives in, pass bobbled. Here comes Wampler for 3, short, no good. And ball scooped up by Mitchell for King. And now this one intercepted by Carter. Carter back the other way, all by herself, puts it up and fouled. While taking the shot, she took a tumble to the court floor, but she's okay. First foul of the game goes up against number 12, Brittany Stringer. It's her first and team's first. And Carter will head to the free throw line, trying to get North Greenville's first points of the game. And a wholesale line change coming up for King as Carter makes the first shot. And here comes number 44, Amy Vandeventer, checking in.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, a lot of different players that score a good number of points for this King team, so that's not a surprise to see a complete change.
Carter makes the second one. It's 2 for 2, and North Greenville is on the board. Now Kristen Couples gets double teamed on the far side. She's able to pass out of it. And now they go around to the near side with Sheena Johnson. Johnson goes all the way back around to the far side of the circle, and here comes a three from Davis. Madison Davis misses it, and it goes out of bounds off of Vandeventer. So North Greenville will get the ball. Down 6, it's 8-2, 7:25 left to play in the first quarter. Carter brings it in the front court for North Greenville. Bounce pass to the near side, and Strayhorn. Now Carter drives in, has an open lane, puts it up and in, good. King looking to counter. They drive in, Vandeventer wide open underneath, gets the bounce, and King's up 10-4. Now King's just out of the full court press. They go back to the regular defense. Carter on the right side, looks for three, slings it underneath to Addison. Addison looks for the basket, just a little to the right, no good on the shot. And Madison Davis with the rebound to the near side. Here's Johnson, back up top. Davis there again, looks to the near side. And Johnson again, now Johnson at the baseline, puts it up and in, good. Wampler, this time for North Greenville. Long pass, tipped, and out of bounds off of King's Davis. So North Greenville will retain possession. Trentham goes for an inbound from the near side corner. Another inbound tip, but Wampler gets it back. Wampler back to the near side corner. Trentham's there, she drives in. Baseline jumper from her, rams out, no good. Addison with the offensive rebound though. North Greenville gets a fresh shot clock and another chance. Here's Carter on the right side. Driven out by Kristen Couples. Carter up top to Wampler, able to keep it in front court, but only just. Now back near side. Trentham fires a three, no good. A whistle and a foul against King. More than likely going against number 32, Madison Davis, it does. First foul against her, team second. And since that was for three, Trentham will get 3 shots.
She's only had 4 free throw attempts this season and has only made 1 of them, now 2 of 5.
Puts a second one up. This one's good as well. Leads down to 6, trying to make it 5. 3 for 3 on that trip for Trentham, and it's 12-7. King still up early. Here comes Couples, passes topside momentarily to Stephanie Brantley. Now back to the near side, and Couples again back up top. Brantley, they pass it around, and then Davis, as she passes to the near side. North Greenville guilty party as number 34, Stephanie Brantley, takes a tumble, and a foul goes up against Wampler. It's her first, as well as North Greenville's team's first. So King retains possession, not a shooting foul.
By the way, we know it's not exactly what you would call an electric atmosphere here at Hayes Gymnasium. Campus still shut down until next week when the semester starts back up, so not expected to not see a whole lot of people here tonight.
Vandeventer called for the travel underneath, turnover to North Greenville.
In fact, I'd say the King men's basketball team is making up about 2/3 of the crowd.
The way they're spaced out in the stands. As Carter, a deep 2 from her, misses off the left side of the rim. King looking for a quick rebound. They take it underneath, number 34, that's Brantley. Passes back out, here comes a 3 from Davis. Too strong, no good. Carter on the rebound. Another wholesale line change coming up for King. And here comes Strayhorn driving underneath and draws a foul against King.
Yeah, King's gotten a little cold. They're getting some really good looks at these wide open shots, but just not quite able to connect with them. North Greenville fortunate not to be down more.
First foul against Stephanie Brantley, team's third, and Chantel Strayhorn at the line makes her first shot for NGU. And another team substitution. 5 come in, 5 go out. Strayhorn puts the second one up, connects on that one. And the lead's down to one possession. It's 3 points, 12-9. Mitchell back in the ball game, trying to go underneath to Albertson. Albertson at the free throw line, takes a deep two, too strong off the back of the rim. Strayhorn with the rebound, able to corral it. And now Carter will bring it into front court. Now here's Trenum on the far side. Bounce pass underneath, looking for Strayhorn, and rattles out, no good. Actually, that's number 33, Aliyah Malouf, who was checked into the ball game, as well as number 23, Erica Cobb. So that shot was from Malouf, no good. And with 4:35 left to play in the first quarter, this should be the media timeout of the quarter. And it's 12-9, King University up over North Greenville here on the North Greenville Sports Network. .435 left to play in the first quarter, coming out of the media timeout, and immediately Erica Cobb fires a three that's short off the backboard. King with a quick rebound. Looks to the far side, drives in, that shot misses from number 15, that's Arnell Collins, but another quick turnover, and Collins gets a little retribution as she gets that two-pointer to fall off the turnover. So some redemption for Collins, and it's 14-9. King gets her first points coming out of the timeout, and Cobb unable to keep the ball inbounds, loses it here on the near side. It's a turnover back to King, and it looks like the Tornado have shifted back into that full court press. They shifted out of it. North Greenville started getting some shots off, but it looks like they've gone back to it. Now here's Albertson, hands off, Harper, back to Albertson. Looking underneath, instead passes around the circle to Stringer. Stringer working against Cobb. Forced to flip back out. Now here comes a three from Albertson. Misses that one wide left. And Carter with the rebound. Carter forward to Strayhorn. Strayhorn back out to Trenum. And now Carter again. Carter works to the far side. Now cuts it back up top. Passes left. Trenum's going to fire a three. Hits that one. 14-12, it's a two-point ball game. Harper flips it to an open Mitchell, goes underneath to Albertson, and Albertson picks up a foul, working, looked like against Trenum. And that will be Trenum's first foul, team's second, and Albertson to the line. First one off the back of the rim, no good.
Albertson's made 27 free throws out of 44 attempts. That's a 61.4 percentage coming in, but did miss that first one, so that'll go down a little bit.
Puts the second one up, this one short and good. A little bit shorter and good. So timeout called. With King up 3, 15-12, 3:13 left to play as North Greenville gets ready to take the ball back here on the North Greenville Sports Network. Coming out of a tornado called timeout, it's 15-12. Just over 3 minutes left to play in the first quarter. North Greenville down 3. Looking a lot better as the quarter progresses. And now here's Devontae Powell, flips it left to Carter, back up top, Broadwater back in, back to Powell, 8 on the shot clock, make it 7. Here comes Powell driving in. And they wave the shot attempt off, and a foul called against the Tornado. First foul against Arnell Collins, that's team's 4th. No shot was taken, so just possession for North Greenville. Carter fires it in to Powell. Powell back to Carter in the corner. And an offensive foul against North Greenville signaled in. First foul against Ty Broadwater, team's 3rd for North Greenville. So King with Albertson, flips it out. Here comes a 3-pointer, that's good from Collins. Puts the Tornado back up 6. Broadwater finds Powell, and now King has switched back to a full court press. Broadwater able to get out of it though, brings it into front court, bobbles the ball, and out of bounds off of Broadwater. Turnover forced there by Jalen Harper. To the right side, Collins there for King, working against Carter. Works around, now Albertson up top, fires a 3 off the rim, no good, and not kept in bounds by a hard-charging Harper. And they'll turn it over back to North Greenville with 2 minutes exactly left to play in the first quarter. Carter, high pass, Cobb brings it down and can't keep it in bounds. So Carter looking for the deep ball, can't connect. Trying to work out of the full court press, it'll give it back to King. Now Carter pulled out of her defensive position, trying to go for the steal. Now the ball is picked up by Powell. She knocks it loose from Collins, but Powell's running out of space. She gets swarmed by Albertson. Jump ball, and King gets it on the possession arrow. Inbound fired outside the circle. Here's Stringer again. Works it around to the right side. Connects up with Collins. Collins working against Powell, goes underneath Albertson. Now back out to Harper. Now back up top, Mitchell. Now here comes a 3. That's wide left from Harper, but an offensive rebound by the Tornado. Running out of time on the shot clock, and the ball's bobbled by Harper, picked up by Maloof. Now Carter works it forward. Back to Maloof, now Cobb on the right side in front of the King bench, trying to go underneath the Broadwater, shot blocked by King, and now here comes Harper, and Broadwater knocks the high pass out of bounds. It'll stay with King though, but good defense by Broadwater in the process. Another big line change for King. Van Deventer back in, as well as Davis and Johnson. And here's Couples, gives it to Johnson. Johnson up top to the near side corner. Davis is there. Now all the way back out. And Couples just able to keep that in front court. She drives in, bobbles it right into the hands of Broadwater. Now Cobb, one-on-one, works around the defender, puts a shot up off the backboard, no good. Offensive rebound by Broadwater. She goes down to the floor with Davis. And they will get the ball to King out of that scrap. 30 seconds left. It's a 6-point ball game. King up 18-12. Here's Van Deventer at the free throw line. She works against Broadwater, puts a shot up and in, good. 20-12, shot clock now off. 11 seconds, make it 10. Here comes Carter. Works it in, near side corner, finds Cobb, fires a three, off the rim, no good. 3 seconds left for King. Now they'll have an open lane, but run out of time as Couples didn't get the shot off. And they'll take a first quarter lead to the benches, up 20-12 over North Greenville. At the end of one, it's 20-12. King up here on the North Greenville Sports Network. North Greenville will get the ball to start the second quarter off, down 8 to King University, 20-12. And now here comes Strayhorn looking for points. Gets double teamed and forced out of bounds and turns it over to King. King looking for more of the same in this quarter. They have an 8-point lead. Here's Van Deventer back out. Davis and now Couples. Davis again on the left side, cross court. And underneath, here comes Van Deventer. Flips it out. Johnson, Davis, and now here comes a three from the far side. Bounces up and over the backboard from Couples. And it goes back to North Greenville as it sails out of bounds. Wampler back in for North Greenville, brings it into front court, works against Van Deventer. Passes, here comes Strayhorn for three. Rings that one in, good. Cuts the lead to 5. Now here comes a three. This one bounces out from Brantley, no good. And North Greenville able to come up with the loose ball. Wampler again, top side, pulls up at the free throw line, passes out to Strayhorn, fires a three. This one high and tall, a little too strong. Broadwater bats it out of bounds, doing battle with Van Deventer. And it'll go back to King, last touched by Broadwater. Couples flips a pass. Brantley drives in, called for a travel. Broadwater looked for the inbound. And front of the North Greenville bench. Here comes Wampler working up, drives in, passes out to Strayhorn. Now Trenum to Powell. Now Powell drives in, puts up a shot in and good. As King was getting excited about something, couldn't quite see what it was. Maybe left somebody a little too open, but North Greenville must not have seen it. But anyway, they get 2 points. It's back to a one-possession ball game, and now King getting double teamed. Here's Vandeventer swarmed by Trenum and Broadwater. She's got to get out of it, and she is able to do so, but the pass is intercepted by Powell. Powell working one-on-one, blocked by number 5, Sheena Johnson. But they will catch Johnson for a foul, and that's her first and team's first of this quarter. And Powell heads to the line for North Greenville to try and make it a 1-point game. One goes in, it's 2018.
Devontae Powell, a very good free throw shooter, came in knocking in, I had the number and I lost it. 9 out of 12,
there you go.
75%.
She'll make another one, it's 2019. King's lead has gone away, it's now 1. Another line change while they in between free throws for Powell. And another travel called against Mitchell, working in the corner. They'll give it back to North Greenville. Full court press again for the Tornado. Wampler works out of it all the way down the far court side, gets double teamed, and she travels.
Yep.
Back-to-back turnovers, and King still hanging on to a 1-point lead. 7.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Here comes Collins, works in, slings a shot up, in and good. Broadwater works up, goes to Strayhorn. Strayhorn gives it back to Wampler. Wampler works to the far side, back up top. Looks back right, gives it to Powell. Now Powell tries to drive in. She's at the free throw line. She's forced to pass out. Here's Trenum. And now Strayhorn with 5 on the shot clock fires a deep 2. Can't quite find the range, and it's picked up by Harper as it bounces off the rim. Harper works up, gives it to number 14. That was Mitchell. And Mitchell drives in. She's called for a travel.
Yeah, her foot just kind of slipped there, but is a travel nonetheless. A lot of traveling lately.
Greenville has had back-to-back travel calls, and King had one. They got a 2-pointer, and then that most recent one. And now Trenum brings it up, hands off to Strayhorn. Strayhorn swings it around, trying to use Wampler as a pick. King doesn't fall for it, so Strayhorn just gives it back to Wampler. Wampler on the right side, 10 on the shot clock for her. She gets double teamed, falls down, and Powell comes up to pick the loose ball. She gets double teamed, and it's picked up by Kings. Albertson off the turnover. They work it forward, and a shot in and good by Jalen Harper off another turnover. 24-19 leads back out to 5 for King, and the full court press is in full effect. North Greenville works out of it. Here's Powell on the right side. Powell drives in with some space, and she picks up a foul working in the paint. This one signaled in against Brittany Stringer. That's her second and team's second of the quarter. North Greenville hangs on to the ball. 6:05 left to go in the second quarter. Powell to Wampler, near side corner. High 3, bounces short off the rim, no good. Stringer brings it into front court, working against Strayhorn. Heads to the right side, now cuts it back up top. Now looks to the far side, gives it to Mitchell. Mitchell, deep 2 from her. To the right, no good, picked up by Addison. Now Wampler goes to work against Mitchell. Wampler on the right side, uses Addison as a pick, passes out to Trenum. Trenum to Powell. Now Powell swings it around top side, gives it right back to Addison. Addison Goes to Strayhorn, trying to cut it down into the paint. Pass batted up in the air and brought down by King. And another foul called against Trenum, trying to defend Harper, who picked up the loose ball.
Trenum frustrated after that one, just going after the ball, but when another player makes contact with it first and then you make contact with the player, you're going to get that foul called on you.
And King wastes no time with Collins at the other end. Makes a two-pointer, it's 26-19. Trenum picked up her second foul, team's first of the second quarter. Loose ball again. Wampler comes up to save it. She gets double teamed and can't work out of it in time.
Now Wampler getting very frustrated.
She had a face full of Mitchell and Stringer.
Gonna have a media timeout. Good time for a timeout for Wampler.
Indeed, I think good time for Trenum, Wampler, the whole squad for North Greenville. 4:57 left to play in the second quarter. It's 26-19. North Greenville looking for some offense, but King has a lead here on the North Greenville Sports Network. Media timeout, just a tick under 5 minutes to play until halftime. King has the lead and they're trying to tack on more here with Van Deventer on the far side. Now they pass it back up top. Here's Brantley trying to go underneath to Van Deventer. She bobbles it, gathers it back. Passes back out to Couples. Couples now top side of the key, gives it to Davis. 7 on the shot clock. They try Van Deventer again underneath. This one too tall, misses wide. And it's scooped up by Wampler for North Greenville. Here's Wampler. Van Deventer comes up for defense. Wampler gets a pass off to Strayhorn, fires a three from the right side, too strong. And Powell had it for a moment, trying to bat it away from all the King players underneath the basket. But nobody home, and she'll just bat it out of bounds, and they'll give it back to King. 15 turnovers for North Greenville, the Kings 9, and the full court press used by King in the first quarter, causing most of those. Here's Couples working against Wampler and Carter. And now Brantley back up top to Couples, fires a three, hits it. And King takes the first double-digit lead of the ball game. It's 29-19. Here's Carter. She works in, puts up a shot, goes in good, and leads back down to 8. Davis on the far side, flips it up to Couples. She'll drive in, and trying to look out for a pass, finds Johnson. Now they get back up top. Davis, hot hand underneath to Van Deventer off the glass and in. Carter into the near side corner, finds Maloof. And a foul against King in the near side corner. Sheena Johnson was working against Maloof. It's the second foul against Johnson and team's second here in the second quarter, or third of the second quarter. So King has 3 team fouls, North Greenville has 2. Carter flips it in, Broadwater hands it right back to Carter. Carter drives in, slings it out, trying to find Strayhorn, but it's picked up by Couples on the loose pass. Now here's Davis up top, all day for a three, and hits that one. 34-21, under 3 minutes to play. Half-court press, Carter gets out of it to Wampler. Now back to Carter, she has all day for three. That one rims out though. Maloof with the rebound, blocked by Vandeventer. But a foul against Vandeventer as well. First foul against Vandeventer, team's 4th of the second quarter for King. And Maloof to the free throw line for 2. No good on the first one. Gets a second one to go, 34-22. Now here comes King, Vandeventer takes a shove in the back and a foul against North Greenville as she tries to get a shot off. First foul against Carter, team's 3rd for North Greenville of the quarter. Vandeventer makes the first one. And everyone but Vandeventer, who's at the line for the Tornado, comes out. Vandeventer goes 2 for 2, 36-22. Score for King, 2.5 minutes to play until halftime. Carter races into front court against a double team. Passes to Wampler, and now her pass batted up by Albertson. Intended for Maloof in the far side corner, but last touch by Albertson. North Greenville hangs on. Here's Carter. Drives in, into the paint, puts a shot up and in, good. Mitchell on the right side for King, wide open underneath. Albertson gets an easy 2. Somebody lost contain in the paint. Back to a full court press, it looks like, for the Tornado. That ball popped up. And somehow Broadwater is able to find Wampler and force King to back out of it. Wampler waiting on the right side. Drives up top, bobbles it. Loose ball scooped up by Harper in a foot race with Broadwater. And Broadwater is able to block it. But Collins scoops it up for the Tornado. Now here comes Albertson, drives underneath but travels. Minute and a half left to play in the second quarter. King up 14, the largest lead of the game. Carter finds Broadwater in front court. She heads to the near side, tries to drive in, slings it to a wide open Powell. Powell drives in, flips it up off the front of the rim, no good. Now here comes Collins to Stringer. Now back up to Harper. And now on the far side, Mitchell is there. Now back around the Stringer again here on the right side. He cuts it up, tries to drive in, flips it up and in, good. Final minute of the first half, it's 40-24. King using a big second quarter to try and run away from North Greenville. Broadwater slips. And a foul called in against King. Number 24, Jalen Harper picks up her first, King's 5th of the second quarter.
That puts North Greenville into the bonus.
Broadwater will head to the line for 2.
Again, it's a new rule this year. 5 fouls and a quarter equals a bonus. Two shots no matter what. There's no longer a 1-and-1.
Broadwater gets the first one to go. Looks for 2, hit it. Well, it's 40-26, leads down to 14 as we reach the end of the first half in a ball game North Greenville has not led yet. King looking to try and use some clock control. Here's Mitchell up top working against Cobb. Slings it to the far side, has Harper. Harper drives in and gets the bounce in. Shot clock now off. That's another rule change as Strayhorn almost loses the ball. She does. But King gets called for a foul, trying to scrap with it with Strayhorn. But the shot clock has been extended to 30 seconds as well.
And speaking of rule changes, North Greenville called that last timeout, not only to save their possession, but also only 3 timeouts carry over to the second half. So even if they hadn't called it, they still would not have had it in the second half, so a good idea to take it anyway.
Best use it while you got it.
Exactly.
So it's 42-26, King with the lead as might as well just keep it here. The timeout's gonna just about over anyway. So North Greenville will have possession. Now inbound it as Carter gets double teamed, flips it to Broadwater. 16 seconds, now 15. Here comes Broadwater, finds an open lane, can't get the roll in, and now King will have the last shot of the quarter. They look to go to Van Deventer underneath. Van Deventer called for a travel, trying to turn around and make the shot. And so now North Greenville will have the last shot. Van Deventer called for a travel, 5.7 seconds left for North Greenville to try and get something. Here comes a flip to Carter. Carter drives down the near side, 3 seconds. She flips it up and can't get the roll. And it'll bounce off the rim, no good, and that will take us to the half with King up 42-26 over North Greenville. And so as we head to halftime, the men's teams will take to the court to get some warm-ups in. King and North Greenville, the men's teams will take to the court after we finish the women's game here. But for the moment, 1 half down, 1 to go, 42-26. King up over North Greenville here on the North Greenville Sports Network. Second half about to get underway between North Greenville and King. King using a strong first half to get 42 points. North Greenville's 26. That is where we stand at the end of one half. And 2 10-minute quarters left to play. King will get the ball to start us off here in the second half. And from the far side, a 3 hits from Whitney Mitchell to start off the scoring here in the second half, 14 seconds in. And they steal the inbound. And now here on the near side, Harper brings it under control. Now slings it all the way far side. The pass a little too tall, intended for Stringer. We'll give it back to North Greenville.
Yeah, North Greenville's got to figure out how to do something against this full court press. Otherwise, guarantee you just about every team is going to do it to them for the rest of the season.
And probably we made a good guess in the first half that King watched the Carson Newman game.
Yeah.
This is what Carson Newman did pretty much the whole contest as Wampler drives in and can't get the shot to roll. It's rebounded by Harper. And now Harper takes it herself, but she can't get the roll at the other end. Now Carter looks deep, picks up Wampler. And Wampler called for a travel. Here comes Mitchell. Passes to Harper, quickly underneath, now back out. To the near side, here comes Collins. And now a 3 is no good from Mitchell. And it goes out of bounds as Harper trying to track it down. She can't. They'll go back to North Greenville, but Mitchell has the first points of this half. And King right back to that full court press. Here comes Trentham trying to work the ball up the court, does so, gives it to Strayhorn. Strayhorn flips it to Addison. Deep 2 for her, no good off the right side of the rim. And Trentham can't bring the ball in. Working against Harper, so it'll go back to King. Here comes Harper, working against Strayhorn. That's a pass to Mitchell. Mitchell now works against Wampler. And now here comes a 3 from Harper. Too strong off the backboard, no good. Wampler able to bring it down for North Greenville. Flips it to Trentham. Trentham works her way forward, gives it to Carter. And now Carter on the right wing. Goes underneath, pass intercepted, intended for Addison. And now one-on-one, gives it to Collins, and she can't get the roll. And Carter's there to scoop up the loose ball. Now Carter works the other way, fires it to Strayhorn. Strayhorn has to gather it in. She gets swarmed, jump ball, and it goes to King on the possession arrow.
Stay with the Crusaders.
Oh, so it'll stay with North Greenville, correction. Another big line change. King's been doing that all night. They sub 5 in. Wampler to Carter. Carter now gets double teamed with Vandeventer and Couples, and she travels. So now it'll go to King off the travel. Brantley gives it to Couples. Couples back to Brantley, open on the left wing for 3s. Got it. (48-26). King rolling early in the third quarter. Here's Carter trying to answer for North Greenville. Can't get it to go. Vandeventer on the rebound. Gives it forward to Couples. Couples heads to the right side. Passes underneath. Johnson tries for a shot. Doesn't get the shot to roll, but draws a foul. It's the first foul of the second half, or third quarter. Paulette Addison picks up her first. North Greenville's first of the quarter. Inbound goes to Vandeventer. Now Johnson. Johnson back out to Albertson, fires a 3. Too strong off the side of the rim. And Trentham able to rip the ball away from Brantley. Now Carter into front court for North Greenville. Trying to drive in from the near side, puts a shot up, but travels into the paint.
Both teams have had a lot of turnovers in this game. Unfortunately, the live stats for this game have been stuck since about 4 minutes remaining in the first half, so we don't have that exact number with us right now, but hopefully that'll get resolved.
Last update was 24 combined turnovers. And that was before the end of the first half.
Yeah.
Now Davis across the circle into the far side corner. Johnson for three, no good. Scooped up by Carter. Carter flips it forward to Powell. Powell works it into front court. Now forced to work back out. Here's Trenum all day for three. He's got it. That's the first points of the quarter for North Greenville. Now up top for three. Brantley, no good, off the rim and out of bounds. So go back to the Crusaders. Now Carter works it into front court. Looks to the far side, gives it to Trenum. Carter up top to Trenum again. Now here comes Maloof, drives in and draws a foul against King. This one goes against Vandeventer. That's her second, team's first of the quarter for King. Now Strayhorn, so Strayhorn will actually go to the line. Puts it up and in, good for one.
Well, one positive thing for the Crusaders in this game, free throws have been excellent.
And 2 for 2 on that trip. 48-31. Now we're on the far side. Couples gives it up top. Brantley now to the left wing. Now they try to go underneath. Vandeventer can't get the roll. Rebounded by Powell for North Greenville. Powell with some space, gives it to Carter. Carter heads to the top side, drives in, free throw line jumper, no good, but she draws a foul again against King, so she'll head to the line for a couple of shots. And this one against Kristen Couples. That's her first, team's second of the quarter for King. Carter gets the first one, and well, you're right, Alan. Free throws, excellent for North Greenville. Just the other pieces trying to find their position. Carter 2 for 2 on that trip, and it's 48-33. Now here comes Couples up top. Gives it to Brantley, back to Couples. Couples heads to the right wing. Looks, gives it to Johnson. Johnson double team, Broadwater a part of that. Able to pass out to Vandeventer. Now Davis top side for three, rattles in good. Redshirt freshman out of Knoxville, Tennessee, gets it for three. And Powell unable to bring down that pass from Carter. It'll go out of bounds. And back to King as we've reached the halfway point in the third quarter, so media timeout awaits us shortly. Here's Davis on the left wing, gives it back up top, has Brantley. Brantley works to the far side, looks, gives it to Johnson. Now Johnson tries to drive in, gives it back outside the circle to Davis. Now underneath to Vandeventer. Now Couples, free throw line jumper from her, good. King has a 20-point lead, 53-33. Carter working against Couples. Gives a bounce pass to the right side. Powell drives into the paint, flips a shot up, no good. Draws a foul again against King underneath. And 2 shots for Powell as Vandeventer picks up her third foul of the game, and that is King's third team foul as well. And so at this dead ball timeout, this will be the media timeout of the third quarter. It comes with 4:22 left to play. King up 20, 53-33 here on the North Greenville Sports Network. Out of the media timeout, Devontae Powell at the free throw line for North Greenville. And rattles in the first shot, good. And after that last call, the latest foul up against Vandeventer, that's her third, so a little bit of foul trouble for Vandeventer as the second shot from Powell goes in, who last year in this matchup almost single-handedly beat North Greenville, scoring upwards of 24 points. Ball kicked by Maloof.
Yeah, so far King hasn't needed much of her offense. They're not having a ton of issues scoring. I'm guessing their field goal percentage isn't that high right now because they've had a lot of wide open shots, but just haven't quite been able to connect on a lot of them.
And that three misses from Jalen Harper. And a foul against King will give it back to North Greenville. As last looked at their field goal percentage for King for the season, shooting 39.7% from the floor. And Maloof unable to get the inbound off, so that'll give it right back to King underneath their basket.
You know, we've seen some very aggressive defense today from both teams, but North Greenville, it seems like they've tried to double team quite a bit, but obviously when you do that, you leave somebody wide open, and King's been able to find that wide open player and get a lot of shots off.
And it couldn't be more true on that last play. Jalen Harper inbounded it and got it right back after the inbound pass pulled most of the North Greenville defense away, left her wide open underneath for two. So talk about live action. So King still with the ball. Up top, here's Mitchell. Gives it to the right side. Harper's there. Back up top to Mitchell. Works against Powell. Flips it out all day for Stringer. Three. She's got it.
Nothing North Greenville can do about that. Just took a shot deep, and it was able to get it in.
Lead now 58-35. And North Greenville, some wild passes down the court. And last touched by Harper as Cobb doing everything she can to hang on to it. Now Strayhorn will go for the inbound, finds Powell. Powell on the far side, drives in, puts it up and in, good. Approaching 3 minutes to go, fast moving third quarter, still one more to go. Here's Collins on the far side with Stringer, trying to go underneath to Albertson, nothing doing, but a 2-point is no good as Harper called for a charge.
That is King's 5th foul, so next foul will put North Greenville, well, they are currently in the bonus, so next foul will give them free throws.
Maloof's deep two is short. Powell with the rebound, though. She gets it in. And you mentioned it, North Greenville in the bonus. That last foul put up against number 15, Arnell Collins. So she's at 2 for the game. 5th team foul of the quarter as that shot misfires from Collins. And now Strayhorn works it into front court. Gives it to Cobb on the far side. Cobb trying to work her way inside the circle, forced back out. Powell, and now Maloof gets it. Cobb gets it back from Maloof. Cobb drives in, tries to flip a pass. Loose ball scooped up by King. 2-on-1 advantage for King. Here comes a shot up and in. No, it rattles out. But a rebound, though, and they still scrap for it. Jump ball, and this one will stick with the Tornado. As Mitchell and Collins both tried shots, they couldn't get it to roll, but they get the ball, or they retain possession. Inbound, back out to Stringer. Stringer on the far side edge, gives it up top, Mitchell. Mitchell works underneath Albertson, and Mitchell trying to find an open lane underneath. Poked out of her hands by Broadwater, it'll stick with King. To the near side corner, Mitchell. Now up top, Collins for three. She's got it. Broadwater down the far court side for NGU. Gives it to Powell. Now Powell to Cobb. Cobb trying to work underneath the Broadwater, able to keep it in bounds, gives it to Maloof. Now Cobb again, drives in, puts up a shot, gets stuffed, and it's picked up by Albertson. Albertson works to the far side, goes cross court, finds Collins. Collins at the line for two, he's got it. Broadwater, did inbound for Powell. Powell streaking down the court, loses the ball out of bounds. Last touch by either Collins or Albertson were in the area. And another big line change for King. Final minute of the third quarter. And King pulling away. Cobb, near side three. No good. Rebounded by Maloof, though. She puts it up and draws a foul against King. And if this one goes against Van Deventer, she was in the area. That'll be her fourth. It is. So Maloof will head to the line for two shots for North Greenville. 16 foul against King. That's Van Deventer's fourth. Maloof makes the first shot. And Kiana Blakely will come in for Van Deventer. Maloof makes the second one, 63-41. And there's Couples up top, works to the far side, defended by Strayhorn. Now here comes Powell up to provide assistance. Pass back out to Davis. And now back to Couples, tries to swing it around again. Strayhorn stays true. And now here comes a three from Couples. That one's good from the right side. Powell for North Greenville. Looks back out, Maloof will fire a three, no good. Shot clock now off. King can ride it till the end of the third quarter. Here comes Couples. Couples to the far side, back out to Davis. Davis to number 34, Brantley, underneath, looking for Blakely. And Blakely draws a foul against North Greenville, 5.4 left to play in the quarter. The first team foul against NGU goes up on the board.
Well, I'll actually go against King.
Offensive foul against the Tornado will give it to North Greenville. A few seconds left, Powell. Here comes a three from Strayhorn, no good as the buzzer sounds. So that will guide us to the end of the third quarter. 66-41, it's a 25-point lead for King as we head to the fourth and final quarter in this Conference Carolinas matchup between King and North Greenville. And have something to go over. Take a look at the Conference Carolinas standings as King in a tie with Limestone for first place. Despite their overall record, they are looking pretty good in the conference, and if this one stays, if this result holds, King will be 5-0 and look to take the lead away from Limestone, who once again is perfect and defending conference champions.
Ranked 8th in the country as well. Only currently the only Conference Carolinas team to be ranked, which is actually more than men's basketball can say. Nobody currently ranked. And actually, I'm sorry. That's right, King was ranked, but since have lost some games and they have fallen out of the top 25.
And North Greenville has some work to do down at the bottom, still trying to get their first conference win. And Erskine still winless, looking for their first win. How about Converse at 8-8? That's two wins and the conference win over North Greenville.
Yeah, they beat North Greenville, and we consider that to be an upset, but Converse not looking too bad. Well, 1-3, but compared to the rest of the conference, they're not doing too bad, sort of middle of the road right now.
Pretty much much anybody's game. Limestone, King, Barton, and Belmont Abbey all vying for that title. Let's see if anybody else can make some noise from the lower half of the standings. Final quarter, North Greenville with the inbound to start us off. Here's Strayhorn on the left wing, drives in, puts it up, and gets the roll. Good. Now Couples gives it to Brantley. Brantley works to the far side, finds Johnson. Johnson drives into the paint, tries a shot. Good for her.
And Limestone is currently beating Lees McRae 68-52 with about 9 minutes remaining in that game.
And Strayhorn makes a shot from North Greenville. So if that result holds, then there will still be tied atop the standings between King and Limestone at 5-0.
Right.
Pass tipped, but brought down by Blakely. She'll try a shot. And another offensive foul. Basket waved off against Brantley.
And live statistics have been updated. Arnell Collins leads for King with 14 points. Two-way tie for the lead in points for North Greenville with Cameron Carter with 10 and Devani Powell also with 10.
A three misses left from Strayhorn. Go out of bounds to King. And Blakely, who came in for Vandeventer, who sits on the bench with 4 fouls for King. Blakely already up to 2.
Grady, you want to take a guess at the free throw percentage for the Crusaders?
I looked at it recently, but I forget it. It was like 94.7.
95.2, 20 out of 21.
Well, that's pretty good.
So not a whole lot of positives for the Crusaders in this game so far, but that is definitely one of them. And King, field goal percentage, they're actually doing well, 53.8%.
That's well above their season average.
Yeah, I didn't mean anything against them earlier. I really thought that they were missing more than they should have been because of a lot of wide open shots that they've been able to take, but just weren't able to connect on a lot of them. But I'm guessing that number's improved a lot over the last 5 minutes or so in the game.
Here comes a three that rattles out from Couples. Offensive rebound, good from Blakely for King. So she'll get her first points of the game after coming in for Vandeventer. Now Powell flips it out. Sierra Suggs in the ball game, misses a three for North Greenville. And here comes a rebound for Johnson. Johnson looking down to Couples. Couples gets it all the way to an open Brantley. She'll drive in, force back out, but Brantley travels, trying to turn back.
And meanwhile, for the Crusaders, a 29.7 percentage field goal in field goals.
Powell brings it in. And a foul against King as Powell's passed out to Suggs. So possession for North Greenville.
And the score is 70-45. Had a scorer's error on the, well, it was changed on the scoreboard just a second ago, I thought, but it's been changed back to 69 for King, but the live stats show that King has 70 points. So a little bit of, I think they're checking with the ref.
I think that's what the official went over there.
Yep.
As we're in extended timeout. Yep, now they readjust it to 70.
Okay.
So live stats correct, 70-45 the score.
Yeah, I got confused too because about a minute or two ago I changed it, but then I looked up at the scoreboard and noticed that it was a point off, and so I adjusted to that, but turns out I was right.
Pass tipped out of bounds by Madison Davis. Trentham wisely lets it go for North Greenville. Crusaders hang on to it.
And looking at turnovers in this game, 26 turnovers for North Greenville, King with 16. So I think that both teams agree that they definitely have too many turnovers tonight.
Sierra Suggs has to go into the backcourt to retrieve this one. Flips it into front court to Powell. Powell to Trentham. Now back up top, Suggs. Over here to the right side for Powell. Powell trying to drive in, puts up her shot, got it. Now Couples for the Tornado. Gives it to Johnson. Johnson slings it out to the right side, has Albertson. Now they try to go underneath. And Blakely called for travel underneath. Turn it over to North Greenville. Powell for North Greenville. Works to the right side, runs into Blakely, gives it to Trenum, open for three, she's got it. North Greenville has gotten to 50 tonight, still down 20 though. Davis to the near side corner for Johnson. Back up top, Davis is there. To the far side for Davis, spins around underneath, puts up a shot, in for 2 points.
Nice move to get around the defender. King bench liked it too.
There comes Powell again, gives it to Trenum. Flip back to Powell. Looks right to Alyssa McCauley in the game for North Greenville. Here's Suggs from the far side for three, short, right into the hands of Davis. Now here's Couples. Baseline jumper for her is good. And it's cruise control for King as they are just banging in shots left and right.
Yeah, I was about to say that their field goal percentage continues to rise. It's now going to be over 54. It's 54.4% now.
Official looking something she didn't like over on the King bench. Inbound for King. Quick shot taken by Blakely. Misses. Rebounded by McCauley. That's an interesting thing that King does on their inbounds is they stack up for all four players that are on the court as Powell makes it for North Greenville at the other end. They stack four players up in a line, and then when they're ready to take the inbound, they go every which direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to stay unpredictable.
That would definitely be a good job of forming some defensive confusion. A shot up in and good from Madison Davis, or number 23, that was Couples on the shot for King. Here comes Powell again for North Greenville, flips it up, no good, but draws a foul. Going against, most likely, Stephanie Brantley. Second foul against Brantley.
Looking at the Limestone game, Lees McRae has, well, I was about to say they've shortened the deficit, but Limestone just hit a three. Limestone leads at 74-60 with 5:18 remaining in the fourth quarter.
And North Greenville with their second missed free throw of the game.
We're mentioning that Limestone game again because King and Limestone currently tied at the top of the Conference Carolinas. So that's definitely a game that King fans want to keep their eye on.
And it looks like it's going to stay tied at this rate. Now Sydney Harris in the game to Allison Littleton. Littleton up top, gives it back to Harris. Harris works in, pass brought down by Johnson. Has a shot, short, no good. Lots of contact underneath. Who they call a foul against? And it is against King. Sheena Johnson picks up her third of the game. Halfway through the fourth quarter, one more media timeout awaits us. Here's Trenum to the far side, Suggs. Suggs to Powell. Powell drives in, flips it back to Suggs. She'll fire a three, hits it. 76-56 after that three-pointer by Suggs. And now Demisha Porter in control for King, has a shot blocked by Powell, and Powell picks it up. 5-on-4, forward to Suggs, flips it up and in, good. Porter to Littleton. Littleton against McCauley, now back out to Harris. Harris for three, rattles out, no good, rebounded by Powell. Powell in the front court for North Greenville, gives it to Trenum on the far side. She'll work in, gives it to McCauley. McCauley fires a deep two, off the rim, no good. And a foul against Suggs, who came flying in to try and knock it away from Johnson, but another contact foul. Suggs picks up her first. we've reached that final media timeout. It comes with 4:04 left to play. King will have it going the other way, and they have the lead 76-58 over North Greenville here on the North Greenville Sports Network. Four minutes left to play between King and North Greenville. And a shot by Blakely. Goes in for King to start us off coming out of the timeout. And Kazami Powell, who has come on strong here in the second half for North Greenville, gives it to Trentham. She'll get it right back from her. Powell trying to drive in, loses the ball. And as everybody goes to the court floor to go for it, foul signaled in against Porter. Demisha Porter for King. That's her first, team's fourth for King of the quarter. Inbound, tipped. And a foul against Sheena Johnson. Or actually number 4, Allison Littleton, that's her first.
By the way, you heard the King bench going crazy when Kiana Blakely scored. That was her first field goal of the season.
Good reason to cheer.
She had 2 points coming into tonight. Both of those were off of free throws.
Broadwater makes both of her shots, but hey, that's a good reason to celebrate.
Yeah.
A good reason to cheer for that too. Broadwater make both of those shots. It's back to an 18-point lead for King. Here's Blakely again underneath, fires it out to Johnson. And now Porter on the right wing, back up top to Littleton. Littleton drives in, hands it off. Here comes the three from Harris. That one's good. .81-60 after that three-pointer. Here comes Strayhorn driving in. Bounces off of Harris out of bounds. It'll stay with North Greenville. Here comes Suggs back in. She'll take the place of Strayhorn. North Greenville with the ball. Here comes a three from McCauley off the back of the board. Off the backboard, no good. Powell with the offensive rebound. Now North Greenville gets another chance. Powell looking underneath. Broadwater open for two. She's got it.
I got a question for you in a minute, Gray.
All right. Porter into front court for the Tornado. Brings it near side. Defended by Powell. Gives it back to Johnson. Johnson works in, flips it back out to Porter. Porter works in, gets triple teamed, passes out to Harris for three, and back-to-back threes for the redshirt sophomore out of Crab Orchard, Kentucky. Powell trying to take it right down the middle and called for a charge.
Yeah, that's a good call there. Definitely had her feet set.
.210 left to play in the ball game. King up 84-62. Here's Harris. Near side corner and Johnson. Johnson defended by Suggs, gives it back to Harris. Flips it out to Littleton, and now back out to Johnson, and 3 threes in a row, this time from Sheena Johnson, the freshman out of Bristol, Tennessee. Trenham back to Powell. Out to the right side, and McCauley. Back up top, Powell underneath the Broadwater, between 2 defenders, can't get the shot, catches her own rebound though. It didn't hit the rim, so 10 seconds on the shot clock. Broadwater has another chance, gets a second rebound, and a foul signaled in against Porter. Broadwater comes down with back-to-back rebounds, but can't get a shot to fall on either one.
So Gray, I'll ask you the question now.
Yes, do tell.
A little over a month from now, I know you're a Tennessee fan, but are you going to watch the South Carolina versus Connecticut women's basketball game?
Well, I would suppose that would be a big matchup between 2 highly ranked teams in the women's basketball world, so sure, why not?
Where each team is currently ranked, if that remains the case by then, it'll be number 1 versus number 2.
It's something you always like to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if on the men's side, Kansas and Oklahoma were ranked 1 and 2, and they went to triple overtime. Kansas the eventual winner. Broadwater sank both of her free throws.
Yeah, I think most people are going to favor Kentucky, but with that being said, South Carolina is really starting to
Connecticut.
To peak. What did I say?
Kentucky.
Oh, sorry. I'm just used to them being number 1 at everything. Oh, okay, men's basketball at least. But yeah, South Carolina absolutely destroyed Arkansas the other day, so we'll see what happens.
Another foul called against King. North Greenville trying to take a shot. And speaking of Tennessee went into Missouri and handed the Lady Tigers out there their first loss of the season. You're welcome. It's just now getting into SEC matchups, so that's when it gets very interesting. Maloof makes her first shot. Aliyah Maloof at the free throw line. Can't make the second one though. That latest foul against Littlejohn for King, that's her second. Final minute between King and North Greenville. Blakely tries to put a shot up off of Broadwater. It'll stick with King. I always look forward to a February matchup between Tennessee and South Carolina, and you have a feeling that normally decides whoever's going to win the SEC on the women's side. Blakely tries another shot, no good, rebounded by Suggs. Now Powell in control for North Greenville, 23 seconds. Here comes Harris up on defense. To Maloof, and a foul away from the play. Against North Greenville, that's their 13th foul. And this one against Broadwater, that is her second. Shot clock now off, 17 seconds. King can just run this one out. Porter into front court. And it looks like the junior from Hendersonville, Tennessee will guide us to the end. And that will do it for the women's game between King and North Greenville here at Hayes Gymnasium. King cruises to an 87-65 win, and for the moment has the Conference Carolinas lead, but Limestone and Lees McRae winding up, and let's check over and see what that score is.
Yeah, it's just over a minute remaining. Limestone leading Lees McRae 80-68. Still a little bit of a chance for Lees McRae, but they would have to foul, and usually that doesn't work out. So, but Lees McRae 2-9 going into that game, so they certainly gave Limestone a run for their money.
So it looks like we're going to stay tied atop the Conference Carolina standing, while Barton and Belmont Abbey try to close the gap. So King wins the women's game. We'll step away. We'll have the men's game coming up next between King and North Greenville. North Greenville men's team has already taken to the court for the first time here in 2016, a loss to Catawba College, the South Atlantic school. So they will look for their first win of the new year against conference opponent King, coming up in about half an hour or so. So that's one game down, one to go here on the North Greenville Sports Network. King beats North Greenville in the women's matchup, but we still have the men's matchup to come here on the North Greenville Sports Network.